This is KMJ at KMJNow.com or wherever you stream. Welcome to the Marc Kapetan Show. This is attorney Marc Kapetan, your host. Today's show is brought to you by the Kapetan Brothers Law Firm. We've been serving the Central Valley since 1995. If you or anybody you know has been injured in an auto accident, a truck accident, or a motorcycle accident, give us a call at 559-498-8000. Or if you've been arrested or cited for a criminal offense, call us at 559-498-8000. Monday through Fridays, 559-498-8000. On the weekends if you need to, if it's an emergency. Kapetan Brothers, we are the Valley's law firm. Folks, in the early to mid-1980s, music was undergoing a change. Gone were the peace and love music of the 60s and 70s. Rock was becoming heavier and faster. And a new genre of speed metal, or thrash metal as they called it, replaced the sludge rock of Black Sabbath and Deep Purple. At the same time, there were book and record burnings. I don't know, Marcella, are you... no, you're too young for this. Back in the day, they were burning records and books, and they were raiding albums, led by Tipper Gore on the left and the religious zealots on the right. They were fearful that metal rockers, including Ozzy, were promoting satanic, basically, ideologies. Instead of them just being musicians out to play scenes to a scary to like a scary movie almost. Metallica, Exodus, Testament, all these bands were considered evil Satanists instead of musicians with normal lives, deep emotions, and the same trials and tribulations as anyone else. My next guest was a rising star in the thrash metal scene out of San Francisco. At an early age of, get this folks, 13 years old, he and his cousins from a very large Filipino family out of the Bay Area formed the band Death Angel, probably one of the coolest names for a band I've ever heard. They were contemporaries of Metallica and other Bay Area acts, having released critically acclaimed albums and touring the world. He and his bandmates were certainly headed for mainstream success when tragedy struck. It was a tour bus accident that nearly took his life. I remember hearing the news in the metal world. I had just shared the stage with them months before at the Wilson Theater in Fresno. It was 1990, November of 1990. I was impressed by their youthfulness and their musicianship, and I was certainly saddened by the news about hearing about the accident. I had always wondered what had happened to them and their very, very young drummer, 13-year-old Andy Galeon. Fortunately, last year, I was able to do a string of tour dates with him. Now 40 years older and still crushing it on the drums, Handsome Dick Manitoba, the band that he was playing with, dubbed him the Octopus after seeing his arms flailing around the drum set. He is now a friend, and he's here to tell his story. So I'd like to welcome to the Marc Kapetan Show from Death Angel. Everybody throw your goat horns up. It's Andy Galeon. Welcome, Andy.
Oh, hello. Thank you. Thank you for what a great intro, man.
I love it. Hey, I'm telling you, it was November 1990, which is, I don't know, I can't count it now, 35 years.
Wow.
And you guys had that huge backdrop from the album Act 3. Yeah. Big curtains. It looked like big curtains. And I was just impressed by these guys must have a lot of backing behind them because they have this huge backdrop. The record companies must be giving them millions of dollars. Tell me about those days.
Oh, man. It was a different time for music, because the charts were just full of all the glam rockers, and the heavy metal was taking over the airwaves and stuff. So it's weird because all the speed metal and thrash people like us were into punk rock and all that hardcore. And then on the other side was all the glam metalers and the Hairspray but we were all playing the same clubs. And then when you go to LA, everyone's just thrown together in this, like the
5-6 bands a night. Yeah,
I mean, what was it? Concrete Foundations and all that kind of. They had like conventions for metal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they had a Concrete Foundations Forum was like the NAMM.
Yeah.
For musical instruments, but just all the labels and booking and everything to do with rock and metal.
But potentially you guys didn't need to go through that kind of stuff. You guys, okay, let's get back to the band. You had all cousins in this band?
Yeah.
Actual cousins?
Yeah, we were all of our grandparents were brother and sister. So we were the grandkids. Like we were the generation of the grandchildren. And we were always together because everybody, all their parents were working, and then we were just
goofing around in the garage.
Yeah, just growing up and being together. And
so you guys formed this band. I mean, was it just kids playing around with their dad's instruments, or how did that all start?
I think the earliest thing was every Christmas we would get together, like all the families would get together. And then my earliest memory was one year when Rob discovered Kiss.
Rob, the guitar player.
Rob, my
Kapetan.
My cousin. Like once he whenever an older cousin had got a record or a tape, that meant all of us had it because we all just
sat around listening.
We just all just burned it, dubbed it, and just taped the records and then sent it to the other guys. And so we had NW, our older cousin was clubbing, so we had NWA from him, and then Rob and Dennis found Motorhead record, No Sleep Till Hammersmith, I believe it was, and then so all of us were listening to it, and then we're always together, and it was really Kiss first, and then at the Christmas party all the cousins they lip synced it, and they were all dressed up like Kiss, but I was little still. I mean, I was littler, I was always little, but I was just watching them, and I was like, next year I want to play the drums on that or whatever, because I think Rob was like Gene, but he was playing a drum set, and then Mark was like Ace, but he had a bass, or it was all just
listen, I hate to tell you, in 1974, 75, I dressed as Ace Frehley for Halloween, so did the same thing.
Rocking out, jumping around, pretending your guitar's smoking.
But okay, but you eventually start forming this band in the garage or wherever it may be with your cousins, and somehow you become the drummer at 12, 13 years old. Had you already played drums, or did you guys just fake it and then started putting the band together?
Well, the origins are Rob started playing guitar, I think at 13, and then we'd always get together on the weekends, like I said, and then he was like, you should play drums. Because
of course the older cousin told you, hey, you're going to be the drummer.
You play drums. I said, okay. So I said, all right, whatever. Started, but we're listening to Kiss, old Scorpions, Rush.
But you're young kids.
We're listening to this complicated. We didn't know it was complicated.
Yeah.
We just were we like this because it's different and it's not just Bad Company. And
so what's funny is people said, well, who do they sound like? And I said, well, it's like a cross between Black Sabbath, obviously Metallica must have been an influence, but Rush, because you have 10-minute songs that are metal songs that go from change to change to change, and it's very, very intricate, way more intricate than Metallica ever was, if you ask me.
Oh, well, not
and I know they're
not
your
Master
buddies.
Puppets.
I know they're your buddies. Eventually, out of this whole thing, a demo tape is done. Speaking of Metallica, a demo tape is done, and who produces the demo tape?
Well, that story was a precursor to that is because Kirk Hammett he produced our second demo tape, which is Kill As One, and Kirk
Hammett from Metallica guitar player.
Before that, we met them at a autograph signing session at the Record Exchange in Walnut Creek.
Yeah.
And it was our old buddy Bob Gamber. He's still alive. He's in Monterey. He still has a record store.
Yeah.
But we would go there, and he's like, you should listen to this. And it was a Motorhead. You should listen to this. It was like Blue Cheer. And
so
all
he
this
was your
stuff.
mentor, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like,
very cool.
He calls up Rob. He's like, you guys got to get down here. He's like, why? He's like, there's a, excuse me, there's a signing. I goes, okay. We go down, it's Metallica and Armored Saint. And there's this big old line going down the street.
Yeah.
So we're like waiting. And of course, it's like us 5 little cousins in leather and denim. And we're waiting there. And they let us in at the end. And then, everyone just starts laughing at us because they're like, what the hell are you guys? Are you guys a band? And we're like, yeah,
we're a band.
Yeah, we're a band. And we're like, really? He's like, all right, you going to come to the show tonight? And we're like, yeah, we're going to come. We saw you at Keystone Berkeley too. All right. Cause it was, the Killers one. I mean, Kill 'Em All.
Kill 'Em All, right.
And,
Metallica's
Armored
first
Saint
album.
and Armored Saint were, Cause for Alarm.
Yeah.
So we knew Cause for Alarm, and then Bob showed us the Kill 'Em All album, and we listened to this, and we're like, what is this? Because it's like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest of what we are covering,
right?
But it's something way more intense.
Big influence for you. We're going to be back with Andy Galeon from Death Angel talking about his Metallica and metal influences and what got them to a status of one of the preeminent metal bands. This is the Marc Kapetan Show on KMJ. This is KMJ at KMJNow.com or wherever you stream. Hey, folks, you could check out the podcasts of all KMJ shows at KMJNow.com, or you could get the app on the App Store. Like us on Facebook. We do a video cast of this show also, so you could see the video of the Marc Kapetan Show on Facebook, also on YouTube. Like us, follow us, subscribe to us, whatever those kids say. Smash that button, as they say. So, sponsored by the Kapetan Brothers Law Firm. Folks, if you've been in an injury accident or an auto accident, call the Kapetan Brothers at 559-498-8000. We'll really take care of you, I promise. We'll ease all your concerns and answer all your questions. So 559-498-8000, Kapetan Brothers. We are back on with Andy Galeon from the death metal. Wait, you guys were thrash metal, right? Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
I hate pigeonholing that stuff.
Yeah, you got to call it something. So they said it was speed metal. Some say it's mosh metal. That's more East Coast.
Oh, I haven't heard that one. Yeah,
mosh. That's more Anthrax. But then thrashing was like slam dancing with the metalers and the punk rockers.
Is that where that came from? The thrash? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, kind of like that. Like because Motorhead was the one band that brought the two
genres together.
Yeah, they were the first crossover band.
I guess you're right, huh? They were. I always considered them punk back in the day. By the way, Andy Galeon, drummer from Death Angel. We're discussing his rise to potential fame, and we're going to talk about that. And then something very, very tragic that happened. You were talking about standing in line, 5 cousins all in a band together. You're 12 about at the time. You formed this band. You haven't done any recordings. You guys stand in line to watch to see and get autographs from Metallica. And literally, they had only had an album or 2 out by the time you're doing this. And you guys say, we want to be famous. And Kirk Hammett actually does your demo tape.
Yeah. Kirk produced our demo. It was 3 songs. We recorded it at his friend's studio up in Glen Ellen in wine country.
Yeah.
And
he's a Filipino, half Filipino himself. Was that the connection, or was it just the happenstance of meeting him that day?
I think meeting him, and then because we sent him some tracks.
Yeah.
Because actually he almost produced other bands too in the Bay Area, in between tours or whatnot, and we liked us and we were cool with him, and we just, obviously.
But no family relation or anything like that.
No, nothing like that. But although Kill As One is not our first demo, we recorded a demo with Matt Wallace out in like Orinda or somewhere like that before, and
but listen,
we played with Exodus before we met Metallica.
Oh, and he was in Exodus at one point,
and Kirk was in.
So
there's like
that's the connection.
Exodus is the unsung band in the
Believe
Big
me,
Four. Everybody, it should be the Big Five, but hey.
We opened up for them too way back in the early late '80s, and they were killer. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay, so but eventually that leads, and with the help of Kirk Hammett, leads to you guys getting a recording contract with what was it, Geffen Records?
The first record deal was with Enigma Records.
A big company back in the day.
Yeah, they had Capitol Distribution, and when Ultraviolence finally came out, because we recorded it a year before. And then it came out, and we recorded in '86. It came out in '87, and the same time that Ultraviolence came out, Look What the Cat Dragged In, when the Poison album was coming out on the same
from
label.
Geffen.
No, on Enigma.
Oh, Enigma.
And Striper. So they had the Christian metalers, they had the glam metalers, and then their thrash band was us.
Yeah, it was you guys.
So.
Then they all went on to some success, including, the great success of Poison. It's 1987. You recorded the album when you were 14 years old, playing all the drums. And folks, this is not easy drumming. You got to listen to this. I know it may not be your bag, but go on Spotify, listen to The Ultraviolence. Again, another great name. It's the album by Death Angel. Sold approximately 40,000 albums, I understand, the first 4 months.
That's something.
Okay, I did the research for you, buddy.
Wow, thanks.
Eventually, you follow it up with another album, then eventually Act 3. It's now about 1990, and you guys are touring the world. What was that like? You're now 15. How did mom and dad let you go out and tour the world at 15?
Well, we toured during summer. So the Ultraviolence tour...
While you're not in high school.
The Ultraviolence was freshman year, the summer, and then... Frolic Through the Park, which was recorded at Fantasy Records in Berkeley. That was also on Enigma. That came out in '88, and then it was summer again. We did Europe and North America, and then by the time we got back from the Frolic tour, we were heavily coerced by our tour manager that our current manager was not doing the best thing for us.
Right.
So what we ended up doing as impressionable young gentlemen, young kids, we fired our manager that got us all this good stuff, that got us going. So she sued us, and then we started shopping for a major.
Yeah.
And then Enigma sued us. So while we're writing Act 3, our first and only major label album,
right,
we have 2 lawsuits hanging over our heads.
You're 15-ish. The oldest in the band is how old by that time?
Oh, no, by this time it's 89. So 89...
Yeah, but come on. Okay, listen. Is the oldest guy 20 or 21 by then?
Yeah, barely.
Okay.
Yeah, barely.
And
I'm 17.
Yeah, 17.
16,
and you're in lawsuits. You're having contract fights amongst managers, etc.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we had blinders on. We were just kind of trying to just focus on the music, but it was stressful.
Was there, since you were all cousins, was there one of the boys in the band in charge, or was there a family member with you guys? Who's watching out for you guys during this time? I mean, troubles on the road, right?
Well, one of our aunts was like, she kind of managed us before Kat Sardowski.
Okay.
She ended up managing Four Non Blondes.
Oh yeah.
And Christina Aguilera.
Another San Francisco band, yeah.
Christina Aguilera and
she was your aunt?
The beautiful song is actually a Linda Perry old solo song, and then
I've hung out with her a couple times. Yeah, it's great.
Kat is the reason why they did. But anyways,
okay. So
A lot of, yeah.
So you're involved in all this turmoil, etc. How about, I'm going to ask you straight out, drugs, alcohol as a 17-year-old kid?
Not too, well.
I mean, let's put it this way. How much trouble were you getting into?
Oh, the music kept us on track because we'd never get drunk or anything before playing.
Right.
So we'd always be, the performance and the playing live was our thing because it was our forte. We tried to pride ourselves on the live show because we couldn't be faster than Slayer. We weren't going to be, catchy or heavier than Metallica.
Right.
We weren't going to be as technical as Megadeth, but we could be tight. We can be tighter than because we like Fishbone, we liked Red Hot Chili Pepper, like all these bands that have a show, and we're just trying to just be like
so most people would think,
balls
these
out.
like I said, Tipper Gore and all those things, they would think, these kids are just drug addled, and they're just up to devil's work basically. You guys were pretty straight kids, and you were doing what needed to be done to make the music the best.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, there was a lot of partying though.
In the end, Marcella.
That being said, but it was in the early days. You know what? I mean, the first time you go to Europe,
of course.
I was 14 going to Europe, and you can drink there. With
and you're
your
in
meal.
Amsterdam, and pot is
we
nothing.
were there. We were there.
I mean,
we're from Northern California, so we go to Amsterdam. We're like, it should be like that back home. And guess what? Now it is.
Yeah, I get
Kinda.
it. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, out of control. All right, we'll be right back with Andy Galeon from Death Angel, the band that you loved and listened to in high school. All on the Marc Kapetan Show. This is KMJ. This is KMJ. Welcome back to the Marc Kapetan Show. You are listening to the awesome sounds of Death Angel. Death Angel from 1990's 87 album, The Ultraviolence. This is Thrasher. Metal Mayhem, folks, here on the Marc Kapetan Show. We are on with Andy Galeon, who's the drummer on this album. Listen to those drums. The kid's 14 years old at the time. Now, that's crazy, Andy. 14 years old doing that. That's just crazy. Andy Galeon from Death Angel. They were a metal band doing thrash rock out of the San Francisco area. We were talking to Andy about you touring the world, now in lawsuits with your record companies and your management. And on one of the tours, was it back in the United States that the big event occurred?
Yeah. Arizona.
Okay. You are rising to the top. You have a major album, major label, Geffen Records, which if you anybody wanted to be on, everybody wanted to be on Geffen back in the day.
Yeah, a lot of people. Our label mates were Aerosmith, White Snake, like
oh my God,
all the like Guns N' Roses. We were like, we're way down here.
No kidding.
Yeah.
You hanging with these people at the time?
Well, yeah, we got into we were at the Aerosmith Unplugged.
No,
'Cause
I remember on MTV that. Yeah,
we were playing the Ritz, which was on the other block, at the same night, and then our manager's like, "Hey, come on, before the show, let's I want you to see this. Come on, check this out." And we're like, "Oh, what?" And we all go, and it's Aerosmith playing Unplugged in this like big old ballroom or whatever.
You were on top of the world. Nothing could go wrong. And then tragedy strikes. You're in what city?
We left Phoenix. We just played the Mason Jar, and we were headed to Vegas.
And what happens?
This was the second leg of the Act 3 tour. So we had been to Europe, and then we went to Japan, and then we did all of North America, and then we were starting to do North America again, and we were playing all these clubs, and the the lighting director who was on tour with us. He was driving, and we were
driving a tour bus.
We were actually in an RV.
Oh, an RV.
A rented RV, and he fell asleep. And if you know, in Arizona, on the freeways, in the middle of the separate highways, there's
a culvert, basically.
Yeah, there's a ravine. There's no wall or safety wall or whatever. So I guess he fell asleep, and he started drifting into the ravine. And then when he woke up, and he tried to overcorrect it, going to the right, and then the vehicle was flipped onto the right side, and we slid for however many yards, and everybody was asleep. And then
it's my understanding you were asleep, but you were sleeping sitting up maybe, and that your face was against one of the windows of the RV.
Well, there was two twin beds in the back, and there was a TV in the middle, and we kind of strapped this TV a little wonkily onto the little whatever stand it was on, and I was lying down, and then when it turned, there was a window, a big glass window, and then they said the TV was on me. When it was all stopped, they lifted the TV off me, and then they pulled me out of the front door, or the side door, which was now the ceiling.
Right.
And then we were out in the desert, but in the middle of the night.
I mean, without getting too graphic, people, it's my understanding. So you have the TV on top of your head on one side. The other side was the window, which is now smashed out, and the gravel road, as the RV is sliding along, the gravel road is basically taking your face off.
Road rash, yeah. And it was like millimeters away from losing my eye.
But was it road rash, or was it what they call a degloving, where the part of the scalp is being pulled off?
Oh, it was, it was rubbed off.
Yeah.
It was a lot of blood, they said.
Were you conscious?
When they lifted me out, or as they were carrying me out, that's when I was gaining consciousness. And then all I remember is when I opened my left eye, it was just like excruciating pain. So I was just like kept my eyes closed, but then they just said it was just a mess and all this blood, and luckily, that's why I respect them. I always respect truckers on the road, people, because a trucker stopped and radioed the hospital in Vegas, and they airlifted me to Valley Hospital in Vegas.
What were the injuries besides the road rash and the almost partial, or almost loss of your eye? Did you have a brain injury also?
No, luckily, no broken bones. Mark had some scrapes too, but I think it was on his foot, or something. And
it's my understanding you went through over a year worth of therapies and reconstructive surgeries.
Yeah.
How many surgeries?
I don't know. I think around 7.
Oh man.
It was that was a very trying time, and and then after the accident, Geffen drops us.
Yeah, thanks, Geffen.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, at that time, yeah.
But part of the reason why they dropped you is I understand the rest of the band said, we're not going to go on without him, and they were like, no, you got to replace this guy now.
Yeah, they kind of were. And then Mark quit. He got married and moved. So it was like everything kind of crumbled.
Right.
But all that time through, halfway through that recovery time, once I was able to start jamming again, we started writing the first Organization record.
So as you're doing basically the physical therapies and surgeries and all that kind of stuff, about how over a year period of time, about 6 months later, you said, I got to get back onto the drum set.
Yeah, as quick as I could. Yeah, I was.
Was there? I mean, how long were you in the hospital for?
I was in Vegas. I don't know, maybe almost 2 weeks.
Mom and Dad fly out to see what's going on?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Immediately. It was crazy. It was just, man, I don't know. Hearing my dad's voice, I was like, I could hear the pain in his voice, and he was a man that didn't speak too much. Mm-hmm. So,
really, what did Dad do? What kind of work did he do?
He saw electrical.
Okay, so just a simple working guy.
Yeah, blue collar.
Mom, a good Catholic Filipino lady.
Yeah, Mom worked at Unocal 76. You know, and when you went on the Bay Bridge, that clock tower.
Yeah, absolutely.
She was right there.
No kidding.
And that's why I get 76 gas till this day, because their insurance is what got me back to it on my feet.
Well, I'll show you a picture of our old roadie, Sick Rick, who would only get 76 gas also. Yeah. Metal guy like you.
Really?
Okay, but so you start playing, the band breaks up, you form the organization. Is there a lasting effect? I mean, getting back on a tour bus, things of that nature?
Oh yeah, totally. Like planes, everything. Anything like moving was kind of not like it was before, but you know, I mean, we toured. Well, so Death Angel broke up 1991, and then we didn't get back together until 2001.
Yeah.
But for that whole time in between there, we were in like so many different bands, and we were touring in vans, and just like we just kept doing it because we were like, well, this is what we want to do.
Right.
And we were the first band that played the Dynamo Festival in Eindhoven, Holland, with no album. We played all organization songs, and we played like 3 Death Angel songs at the end.
Yeah.
with Rob singing and Rob. So
you just kept going. That was it. This way, your dream. Nothing's going to stop your dream, even this horrible accident.
No, not at all.
We're on with Andy Galeon from Death Angel. We'll be right back after this. This is the Marc Kapetan Show on KMJ. This is KMJ at KMJNow.com. Welcome back to the Marc Kapetan Show. I want to get right back into it with my buddy, Andy Galeon from Death Angel, a thrash metal band from the 1990s. We were discussing his rise to potential fame, record contracts, lawsuits from the record companies, and eventually the tragic accident that Andy was in that nearly cost him his life. Andy, it's now been 35 or more years. You know, looking back on it, you look in the mirror every day. You have a constant reminder. The plastic surgery did as best they could, and you're, to me, a beautiful man. But there's...
Thank you.
You're welcome. But there is this constant...
You are too.
Thank you. But you are... By the way, it may sound weird, but you know, one of the things I thought is this poor young little 15-year-old boy. He's such a beautiful boy, and now he's got, you know, has this bad accident. But you know, you're as beautiful as ever. Okay. You look in the mirror every day, though, and there's this constant reminder, right?
Yeah.
Does it stick with you every day, or?
Well, yeah, it sticks, but
mentally, long-term,
yeah.
Emotionally.
It's I mean, you have to know who you are, and you have to, like, I mean, I don't know, if you knew me back in the day, it's like I was the daredevil skateboarder. We used to skateboard, right? Yeah. We used to just, like, every time we'd go on a road trip to play gigs, I would come home with like scar on my chin, or, you know, a new gash in my elbow, right, or this or that. So for me to get injured and stuff like that, I was kind of used to patching myself up. Because I'm kind of rough with all my things. Yeah, you're the octopus on the drums. Yeah. I mean, drummers. I mean, you know, we hit things with little bits of wood, like really hard, and it's a therapy. But if for a normal person, I don't know if you'd really want to keep beating on things with your hands all the time, if you're not getting paid, like, for, you know, as a kid or whatever. No, you guys are nuts. Just say it. You guys are nuts. Drummers are a different breed. So did it make you more? I mean, did you make you reflect? I mean,
point, sad part about it is that you were only 17, 18 years old at the time, or 17 at the time. So you hadn't developed this adulthood life. And all of a sudden, you've not only become more of an adult because you've been in this injury, accident, but did it make you reflect on life at that early age and say, hey, there's more important things than doing all this daredevil stuff?
Oh, yeah. Yes, for sure. I had to rethink, like, what I was doing. Like, all my hobbies and everything was taking a backseat because drumming was my priority. And I knew, like we would sound check at 4 p.m. and then skateboard for 2-3 hours. Wow. And then play at like 10 or 11 p.m. at night. And I remember we'd played the Farm one time with like all these hardcore bands and metal bands. And when I'm doing double bass and I'm like, and my left leg just cramps up. So it's like, and I was like, whoa, what happened? Like I thought someone grabbed my foot and I was like, oh, is this from skateboarding?
You're skateboarding too much.
And I was like, dude, and then James broke his arm from skateboarding. And I said, no more, I'm going to break something. So
you lost a little bit of youth in that sense though, because you couldn't have that devil may care type attitude.
Yeah, totally. And, I mean, we came from good, family background, hardworking people. And
did mom and dad say, okay, that's enough, you're off the road now?
Oh, no, never.
Really?
Never.
Good people.
They just, they totally helped us. We practiced in my mom and dad's garage. We wrote probably 3 records there.
Wow.
I mean, without that, I mean, because you got to pay for rehearsal space. You got to bring all your stuff there, and like not everyone drives or whatever.
You became friends with the guys from Metallica, from what I understand, and one of your good friends in Metallica back in the day was Cliff Burton, who was the original bass player.
Yes.
And the ironic thing about that, Marcelo, which we were talking during the break, is what?
Cliff passed away on the road in Sweden.
In a tour bus, right?
Yeah.
Tour bus accident.
Yeah. 87, I think.
Yeah.
88? Something
wow.
like that.
Wow.
Yeah, that was, cause if you know the history of Metallica, the Bay Area natives are Kirk and Cliff.
Yeah.
Cause Cliff was from Castro Valley and Kirk was city boy, but East Bay, he moved to the East Bay. And, he was like our local hero that, they made it. Like they pay and they didn't just make it, but they were paving the way for all of us, and we're dragging all of us with them.
But that had to make everybody in the Bay Area sit there and reflect on, oh my God, it's happening again almost, with your accident.
Well, yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that. Yeah, because it was it was just a couple of years later, and many times I thought like my life could have ended right there.
Absolutely.
And I would never have like toured more places, and I would never have my 2 daughters, beautiful.
You have 2 daughters. One, you're going to her 16th birthday party, right? What are the 2 girls' names?
Yeah, Sophia is 25, and Maisie is 16 tomorrow.
Would you allow Maisie? Happy birthday, Maisie! Would you allow? Hey, let me ask you this: would you allow them to play in a band called Death Angel at a young age of 16?
Oh hell no! It's like, did you see that Usher interview? They keep playing that Usher interview that he played on Howard Stern, and they said, "Would you let your sons go to the Puffy camp?" And he goes, "Hell no!
Hell no!
That's the same thing. Hell no!" But everyone asked me, "Did you teach your girls drums?" And I was like, I'll only teach them if they want it, because sometimes they would jump on there. They have a natural rhythm. My mom taught them piano, and my mom's the real musician, the pianist.
Yeah, that's what you said. Mom was the real musician. She was the pianist and taught you all your musical knowledge and stuff. Yeah.
Well, I heard it from her, because I was too too much energy. I couldn't sit still to learn all the theory. I was just, we were recording and just playing gigs before we can even like really know how to write a song.
Well, you learned well, and you guys did really well, and it looks like you've persevered after all the tragedy that happened. So, Andy Galeon from Death Angel. Go out and check out the albums. Get your metal on. Get your thrash on. Right, Andy?
Yeah.
All right.
Keep you young at heart.
Keep you young at heart. That is true. Yeah. It's Andy Galeon from Death Angel. Get your thrash on. Go out and check out Death Angel on your streaming services. You'll love it. Thank you for being on the show, Andy. It's just been a pleasure. I loved it.
Oh, hey, thank you. This is great. Great forum. Thank you for having me, Mark and Marcella, and the Kapetan brothers.
That's right. If you've been in an accident, call the Kapetan brothers, right, Andy?
I met you guys through Manitoba.
Yeah, back in the day. Yeah, no kidding, man.
Well, Wilson Theater and then Manitoba.
Yeah, old handsome Dick. Yep. All right, Andy. Thanks for being on the show, buddy.
Thank you.
We'll see you. See you next week on the Marc Kapetan Show. This has been KMJ. Go out and check out Ultraviolence from Death Angel. I'll see you next week. Thanks to my producer, Marcella Solorio Taylor. This is KMJ. We are back on with Andy Galeon. This is not on radio, so we get to say every F word that you want to say, okay, Andy?
Oh, fucking great.
This will be for our YouTube subscribers, and this is what we call a bonus track. So
fucking hell.
And that's now every word's going to be the F word. Yeah. Marcelo, say the track again, Andy.
Oh, Carnival Justice.
Look up Carnival Justice by Death Angel.
It's on Killing Season.
On Killing Season. While she's looking for that, you had another story you wanted to tell us. We do a little bonus track every once in a while for our fans.
Oh, cool.
This is Andy Galeon from Death Angel. We got so serious talking about the tragedies that happened and your rise to success and all that kind of stuff that we missed a bunch of stuff, including some of the bands you've been playing with these days, including Handsome Dick Manitoba.
Oh, yeah.
Like, who else you been playing with lately?
Well, lately I've been playing with the Deadlies. They're a surf rock band out of Napa. So they were on the Creepy Coffee TV20, I
don't know what that is.
Horror movie thing. Yeah. At the Bay Area, used to always have like horror movie stuff, and they were like the house band on the side there. But I just played with them at the Blue Note in Napa on Halloween, and I'm also going to play with Screaming Bloody Marys.
Oh, yeah, great.
We're playing Bottom of the Hill December 20th, and we're going to play with the Dickies and all these. I think he's Dave Dalton, really good guy.
Yeah.
He's getting some shows with 7 Seconds, and he's got some shows lined up.
Right.
So
still playing. What kind of work you do now? What do you do?
Right now, I'm teaching drums at the Napa School of Music.
Oh, cool! Good for you.
So it's great. I'm training the young drummers.
Were you formally trained at all?
No, but I did take lessons. I kept taking lessons, and they kept shoving the rudiments down my throat, and I was like, dude.
I'm a thrash metal player, man.
This is right before, it's always stick control. It's rudiment. It's all about singles and doubles. If you're a drummer out there, it's just all different configurations of singles and doubles. And remember, in order to sprint, you have to run first.
Absolutely, man.
All the kids want to do the double bass, but get the slow beats good first, get a good internal clock, and then all that fast stuff. It's easier than you think.
It's funny that you said that, because you have a great internal clock. When you were doing the thing with Handsome Dick Manitoba and the Dictators, when we were out on that tour, I was like, oh, that's the best. When you have a drummer that has proper timing and can keep that clock going, that's awesome. And then to be able to play like you play is just even on top of it, man. Did the record companies make you take all these lessons and stuff back in the day?
Oh no,
No.
they would just give you an advance and then say like, yeah, pay us back. Yeah,
No, I
yeah,
thought it was
right.
a lot more control back then.
Maybe if you were, if an A&R rep signed you, then they're the liaison from the label to the band.
Yeah.
So then the label would tell the
direct
A&R guy, and then the A&R guy gets to try to tell the band, and the band would say no, and then that's the fight like that.
I'm assuming though they didn't know really what to do with a bunch of 17-year-old Filipino boys who were playing thrash metal, right?
Yeah, not really.
So basically, let you do what you want to do.
Yeah, and we were hella stubborn too. So they would try to.
Were you guys assholes as young artists?
We were a little brash. We were young. We had a little, and we had. That's the thing about when the first thing you do is kind of like has a certain amount of success.
Yeah.
They just expect, okay, now the next one's gonna be double or triple that, and then the next one's gonna be that. So
yeah, but in the same breath, you also had expectations about how you guys got to service me. Basically, I'm the star here, right?
Well,
did you have? I mean, listen. The reason why I say it is Brian Wheat, my buddy from Tesla. Sometimes he'll say something and he'll go, "I'm sorry, man. I don't know how to act. I became famous early. I was in a rock and roll band as an early age, and I didn't know how to become an adult."
Yeah,
That's
funny.
It?
Brian Wheat, he called us because we were label mates with Tesla.
That's right. They were on Geffen.
So when we were playing the Stone, he called up. He's like, "Hey, I want to bring my nephew down there," because his nephew was into speed metal. I was like, "Sure, man." And he showed up. He's like, "Hey, what's up, man?"
Oh my gosh!
And we met the Deftones. We both played like a park.
Yeah.
Like to 30 or 50 people. Like no one was there. That's when we first met the Deftones
in Sacramento.
Yeah. So Sacramento was close.
Absolutely.
We have a lot of
absolutely.
But
okay, you wanted to tell me something. Yeah.
There's one important link that is I think that should be mentioned was so right before the crash, they were putting together a tour called Clash of the Titans, and it was Megadeth,
I remember
Slayer, Anthrax, and it was supposed to be us. And we were so excited because we finally got this is because we always wanted to support somebody, and they just always had us headline clubs and this and that. So, approaching this, we crashed and So Alice in Chains gets thrown into the tour because grunge, and I don't want to say grunge, but the Seattle scene
was on its way up.
Was just starting to crush everything on the airwaves and the MTV and all that. So, and if you hear their interviews, it was a rough tour for them because, Slayer's playing after. Anytime Slayer is going to play after you, you're going to have a hard time, dude, And if you're going to play after Slayer, I was like, good luck.
Forget about
dude.
it.
Good luck.
The crowd's gone.
Yeah, so they do that tour and, they go on to do great things. And I love Alice in Chains. But fast forward years later, we're Swarm, which is three parts of Death Angel, and we're doing what are they doing? We're doing a showcase, trying to get signed.
Yeah,
we're playing LA,
trying to get signed again after being dropped.
Yep.
Yeah.
After and signing, we signed with Metal Blade as the organization. We kept signing, which is we should have just put our stuff out like Zappa did. Zappa was ahead of this time, and he knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Yep. But so we're playing, and not that many people are there, whatever. And there's this one bearded guy that's just walking around in the club, in the dance floor, and he seems to like the music. Later on, we're putting our gear away, and Mark's like, "Did you see Jerry?" And I was like, "What? Who?" He said, "Jerry Cantrell. He's out there." I was like, "Really? The guy with the beard?" And he goes, "Yeah, he had a ZZ Top beard, and he was recording the Degradation Trip 1 and 2. I think he already recorded it."
Yeah.
And then he asked Mark, he goes, "Hey, you guys want to go on tour?" And we're like, everyone's working and doing all this stuff. Like before, he's like, "Yeah." We'll
tour
figure
with
everything out. Yeah.
No kidding.
We played with Jerry for that tour.
As Death Angel.
No, as Swarm.
As the Swarm.
So
Swarm.
it was Mark, Rob, another bass player, Michael, who wasn't in DA, and me. And we played with him, followed Jerry around for like 7 or 8 weeks in North America. And it was great because, Alice replaced us on that tour, and then Jerry gets us to open for him on that tour. And then...
You think he felt he owed you a little bit?
I don't know. He's a great guy. He's cool. And he could have taken anybody. Dude. Yeah. He could have taken anybody off the street. But then after we played, we were on tour with Jerry, and then towards the end of the Jerry tour, we got a call asking if we would take part in Thrash of the Titans, which was
instead of Clash of the Titans,
benefit for Chuck Billy and Chuck Schuldiner, because they both had some form of cancer. And then we said, yeah, of course we'll be a part of it. But then the production manager's like, yeah, but they want Death Angel. And Rob and I were sitting in a hotel room, and I was just like, just say yeah.
Just say yeah.
And he's like, oh, but they want Death Angel? And I was like, yeah, we'll figure it out, dude.
Yeah.
So then he hangs up the phone, and I was like, Jerry doesn't like to sound check, so we'll just practice. Every time we sound check, we'll play like an extra
couple more songs.
Yeah, we'll play a Death Angel song here or there. The funny thing is we're doing that, and then the sound guys at the different clubs like, hey, why are you guys playing Death Angel? And we're like, oh, shh, don't say anything. So we get home from the Jerry tour. We have like a week and a half off. So we try out a couple friends because we asked Gus first. He didn't want to do it. So we play that Thrash of the Titans with our friend filling in on guitar. And at that show, we had off, hey, do you want to go to Europe? You want to play a festival in Germany? You want to do this and that? And we're like, yeah. And then that's how we got back together. And then we did 2 more records in the 2000s.
Right. The 2 albums were...
The Art of Dying,
right,
and now it's in 2003, and then Killing Season is.
I was listening to Killing Season. Wait a minute, Marcella, do you have that?
Killing Season, is it on the?
Do you have that song that he was asking for earlier?
What was the name of it?
Carnival Justice.
Yes, right here.
Okay, go for it. Give it to me.
It's a doozy.
It's gonna play.
Step up inside the face. Punishment from a different age. Are you witch or heretic? Wandering left convicts. Take a look, you'll see. It's much bigger than you or me. Future masochism, leather whips and algorithm. Make you fear, make you tear. Memories that scar for years. Train your brains of guilt and regrets. What's your last request? Endless pain, living hell.
Wow.
No drawn out trial, no box, no jail. Shut up, don't be a fool.
Who's that singing?
It's Mark.
Oh my God, dude.
Good stuff.
That's killer. The sound's killer. Oh my God, that sounds great. That shocked the hell out of me, actually.
That was recorded at 606, Studio 606.
So
Foo Fighters.
How long? Oh, that was recorded at 606 at whatchamacallit's place.
Dave Grohl's.
Dave Grohl's place.
That's when I met. That's the only time we met.
Wow.
Dave and Taylor Hawkins. I met him there.
Did you record on the Sonic Studios Neve console?
Yeah.
No
That's
shit.
That happened at the 11th hour too. We were going to use a different producer. Luckily, oh man, Nick Raskulinix, he called us up. Like
he does a bunch of stuff for
Dave the guy.
Over there.
Yeah, he was the Studio City guy.
Oh, that's right.
He's got a studio in Nashville now.
I was we were duping some of our old multi-tracks to digital.
Cool.
And I call Capitol Records, and the girl answers the phone. And she says, "Yeah, you come on down, and I'll give you a tour of the place." I go down there, and we're talking. All of a sudden, I said, "God, you look familiar," and stuff like that, from back in the day, not from the show. And she goes, "I was that girl at Sonic Studios. She goes, I was
Really?
the secretary at the front desk, or the booker, the whatever, at the front desk.
Wow.
And she goes, when you watch the film, they got a film coming out. When you watch the film, they talk about so-and-so. I think Veronica? God, I'm sorry. I just tried to call her about a month ago, Marcella, to try to get a hold of her again.
Wow.
But, yeah.
See, small industry.
Small world, that's right, man. The band stayed together for how long when you did those last two albums?
It was from 01 to 2009.
Oh, that long. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, we toured a lot too. Hit Japan and
Yeah.
Australia.
Is Japan the funnest? Oh, my God.
Oh man, it's
The
like,
crowds are crazy.
well,
Controlled crazy.
yeah, they're loud, but it's high pitched loud.
High-pitched, loud, screaming. They'll scream,
sing
and then they
along.
stop, right?
They sing, yeah.
And then they'll sing along, but then they'll stop
in between
all
songs,
at once.
it's
in
quiet.
between songs.
It's weird.
Yeah,
It's a little
strange.
weird. A little weird.
Dead quiet. I was in a place, 10,000 people. Dead quiet. You could hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, wild.
Yeah. First sushi, 1990.
That's awesome, man.
crazy.
You talk to the boys at all? The cousins?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I just texted Rob. It was his birthday just a few days ago.
All still friends?
Oh yeah.
Was there ever
totally.
big falling outs? I mean, it's like brothers.
well,
We're like
yeah.
brothers, right? You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
But-
mean, it's like, I mean,
Yeah.
the money and whatever.
It gets in the way.
the blood and the money and the getting burned
Yeah.
and getting used, and that's just creates a lot of unsmoothness, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
in the end, you guys are cousins, you're blood, and that's
that's what it is.
and friends since you had been little kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah, awesome. Oh man, I love it, and I'm glad now I could call you friend because we were out on tour and I just loved hanging out with you just because you're just a chill dude. He may be in death metal, a Death Angel, a metal band, but he's just a chill dude, and he was just so much fun to hang out with, man.
Oh man,
I love
thank you.
Speaking of which,
too.
are you ready for dinner, man?
Oh yeah.
All right, let's go get some good food.
Sounds good.
All right, buddy.